Alright, so right now I'm working on these two transition models. This one essentially has just been proving out the electronics, and as you can see from around the back in here, the wiring's been going pretty well. And this has now been sent to be essentially turned into a proper printed circuit board. Obviously I'm focusing on taking these details in cardboard and moving them to little jog wheels out of the plastic, and also just necessary things like claiming back a millimeter space by rotating this, and it really is down to these sorts of details at the minute. And also I think I'd mentioned in a previous video that I printed out these with the intention of them splitting along this line, and I've realized that essentially this isn't great when you try and take it apart, for the simple reason that essentially this bit, when it comes apart, needs to slide across. So it's a bit of a hack, but basically I just chopped that bit off and stuck it round on here. And what that's meant is, as you can see from the glue, I've just basically connected that on, and so I think that's a good workaround for the time being. But ultimately I'd really try and want to just work on the aesthetic, as much as I know that it is a 3D printed part and it has sort of obviously certain limitations in terms of the tolerance. For example, I've just realized that generally speaking parts made on this can be out by about 10 millimeters in terms of the Z axis. So a lot of it is having to design not with the CAD as being perfect, but actually the CAD being the trial and error to understand the limitations of the 3D printers. So again, this is still amazing. I'm not in any way down on the Ender 3 for the 200 quid that it is, but compared to the Up Plus over here, which the error on that is less than sort of 1%. So that's why I tend to do all the small parts on that one. So that's where we're at the minute. It's kind of just tricky and slow at times, but there's bits that I also quite enjoy, in that this model now is as you can see, riddled these little shiny bits in it called brass inserts, and it means that the whole thing can be screwed together nicely. And as I'm sure I will be taking it apart many times, it also just means pieces like this as well, I can adjust the fit and calibrate it so that it works really well, as opposed to this model here, which is basically just admittedly 3D printed parts but a bit of hot melt glue gun holding them into place. So it's just one of those things where it's going well, but it's also just about doing the grind and getting it all worked out. But no, really enjoying it. So here goes.